Now at 10, Oklahoma authorities identify a body found last week along the Will Rogers Turnpike. Plus, a Joplin woman looks to dispel some common misconceptions about human trafficking. And the SDK Humane Society releases a statement about ending its partnership with Paw Prints on the Heartland.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Oklahoma have identified a body found along I-44 near the Miami exit last week. This is KOAM News at 10. Authorities say the body is that of 53-year-old Richard Atchley of Chelsea, Oklahoma. An autopsy determined Atchley died from being hit by a vehicle. Investigators say the driver did not stop or report the incident. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol and the Quapaw Nation Marshal Service are trying to identify what vehicle was involved. A Grove, Oklahoma woman is charged with aggravated trafficking of fentanyl. In May, investigators received a tip that Julie Wise was dealing a large amount of fentanyl pills from her home. After stopping a vehicle leaving Wise's home for making an illegal U-turn, police found her in possession of 200 pills. They say she admitted that since March, she's purchased about 1,000 pills, selling for $30 each. Wise is also charged with possession of firearms after a felony conviction and unlawful use of a telecommunications facility. Let's check in with Doug Heddy for our first look at the weather.
Well, of course, another hot one for us today, but not as hot as what we have seen over the past couple days. Mid-90s, still above a normal high of 91 degrees, record high 107 set back in 2012, and we did get a little bit of rain throughout the morning hours, which is great. Nothing popping up now. This is just ground clutter across the region. Most of the Central Plains look pretty good, so pretty quiet for us tonight. We're sitting upper 70s to lower 80s across the region, and we're going to drop back into the mid 70s by the time we head into the morning hours. 83 by 10, up to 93 by noon. I think partly to mostly sunny skies, high temperatures. We press 100 degrees once again as we head into the afternoon hours. Now, we do have some rain chances in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
Catch you then. Human trafficking is an ongoing battle all around the world. In Joplin, Survivor Care Director Angie Brower recently gave a presentation to UN delegates on the topic. And local police are also regularly training. KOAM's Yana Hautala takes a look at what experts around the world and locally are learning.
It's not a movie scenario. These are real-world victims and are oftentimes victimized by someone they know.
These are my friends, and maybe even their trafficker, pretended to be their boyfriend. That happens a lot, and they get these young women to fall in love with them. And if you would just do this for me, then this many times, then you and I can go make a life together. You won't have to do this forever. And that is how they get drawn in.
This is why young girls may get very attached to their traffickers. And getting out from it may not be as easy as you would think because of the place of trauma. One tool after a victim is found is assessment of survivor outcomes. Brower says it evaluates what can help the victim move past trauma and continue their life.
We want to look at things like, what's their assertiveness ability like? Are they able to find their voice and speak up for themselves? Do they understand now what it looks like when someone is manipulating you? Or are they likely to step back into a situation that could be very dangerous for them?
From there, the goal is to get the victim to a safer and better life. And while Brower helps those local and worldwide, police in Joplin works to ensure their community stays safe.
We're trained to investigate the case, find the crime, get the victim out of that situation, and then put the bad guys in jail.
Police Sergeant Andy Blair helps train other law enforcement.
Letting people know that it's not okay in our city, that we're not going to have it here, and we're going to keep fighting it.
In Joplin, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
A national hotline seeks to help victims of human trafficking and provide information on the issue. You can get a link to that number at KOAMnewsnow.com. The city of Joplin is considering its next steps following the failure of Proposition Public Safety this week. That voting proposal was to fund new wage scales for the Joplin Fire and Police Departments through a property tax hike. City Manager Nick Edwards says listening and understanding to what voters want is the next step. Yesterday, we told you about a partnership between the SEK Humane Society and Paw Prints on the Heartland ending after 22 years. It ended because they couldn't agree on terms on a new lease. The Humane Society declined to comment yesterday, but today they did release a statement. The statement says, in part, that, quote, it became apparent that the property being occupied by Paw Prints was not being adequately insured or maintained. In order for the Humane Society to legally protect the organization as a whole, it was advised to require a standard written commercial lease agreement by Paw Prints, end quote. The disagreement resulted in Paw Prints being evicted. You can find the Humane Society's full statement on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Marion Days is back. The annual festival had drawn tens of thousands of Vietnamese Catholics to Carthage every year through 2019. But it's been canceled the last 2 years due to COVID. It started back in 1978, celebrating the Virgin Mary every year on the first Thursday in August. Despite the 2-year hiatus, the spirit of Marion Days is alive and well.
Because of the 2 year in between, so now when they come, they do have that spirit of a different one. I mean, I think it's a different one. I don't know how to express exactly the term for it, but I can see that they do have. Yeah.
Celebration runs through the weekend, and the public, that means you, the public is welcome. Joplin School District officials are putting the word out about a change at the state level, making it easier to become certified as a substitute teacher. Now in Missouri, it takes only 36 college credit hours to become certified, where it previously took 60. There's also a 20-hour online training course that you can take. Joplin officials hope the change will encourage more people to apply ahead of the coming school year. A Joplin-based breastfeeding group is holding an event to celebrate National Breastfeeding Week. Chi Chi Mamas is an online Facebook group with more than 3,000 members. They're going to hold a breastfeeding celebration this Saturday, 10:30 at Joplin's Senior Center.
To bring everybody together and to show them, that we definitely do support breastfeeding. Here in Missouri, about 80% of all moms start breastfeeding, and we just like to keep that up.
The group will also meet quarterly at the Joplin Health Department starting in November. Missouri Southern's Webster Hall is getting a colorful student hangout. You don't see it, but take my word for it. A space that was formerly used for storage is now becoming a new spot for students to relax between classes, and there it is. The Department of Art and Design Administration and participants in MSSU's Leadership Academy are creating a floor-to-ceiling mural on 2 walls adjacent to the main staircase.
We thought, it'd be great if we could clean up a space for students to hang out in. And so this is the building we gravitated towards. And as we wanted to kind of push the boundaries of what we were doing, we thought, it'd be really cool if we could get a mural.
Yeah, look at that mural. It's really nice. A local furniture store is donating all the furniture for Webster Hall's new student corner. Coming up, President Biden takes increased action to address the outbreak of monkeypox in the U.S. Plus, a jury decides how much money talk show host Alex Jones must pay the parents of a school shooting victim in a defamation trial. A Russian court has convicted U.S. basketball star Brittany Griner of possessing and smuggling narcotics, and the judge sentenced her to 9 years in prison. Griner's lawyers had argued the Phoenix Mercury Center and 2-time Olympic gold medalist inadvertently packed the cannabis canisters. The verdict comes as U.S. and Russian officials are negotiating a prisoner swap. A jury in Austin, Texas says conservative talk show host Alex Jones must pay more than $4 million to the parents of a 6-year-old killed in the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting. It's the first time the InfoWars host has been held financially liable for falsely claiming the attack that killed 20 children and 6 educators in Newtown, Connecticut was a hoax. This judgment is for compensatory damages. The jury could order Jones to pay even more through punitive damages tomorrow. The Biden administration has announced new measures to respond to the monkeypox outbreak. 6,600 cases have been reported so far in the U.S. That's up 1,600 cases since last week. Elise Preston reports from New York, where a handful of clinics just opened.
The Biden administration has declared the monkeypox outbreak a national public health emergency.
We're prepared to take our response to the next level in addressing this virus, and we urge every American to take monkeypox seriously and to take responsibility to help us tackle this virus.
Over 600,000 vaccine doses have been distributed thus far, and around 80,000 tests are now available every week.
This virus is moving fast. This is a unique outbreak, and that is spreading faster than previous outbreaks.
Some New York City clinics like this one are booked with vaccine appointments. The city is rolling out 5 new clinics to help administer tens of thousands of available vaccine doses. In the Minneapolis area, health officials say cases started surfacing at the end of June.
We're testing people every day for monkeypox, and so far cases have not been severe. There have been no hospitalizations.
But cases are quickly rising in the region.
The biggest thing that we're seeing clinically as a sexual health clinic is skin lesions. They can be anywhere on the body, but we're most commonly seeing them on or around the genitals.
Monkeypox is mostly infecting men who have sex with men, but anyone can catch it. It spreads primarily through skin-on-skin contact. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The Biden administration is also exploring new methods of administering the vaccine to expand availability. AAA says gasoline prices have fallen 50 days in a row after recently hitting an all-time high, national average above $5 a gallon for regular at one point. But the downtrend could face a number of challenges, including a decision by OPEC and its oil-producing allies to increase production in September by a slower pace than in previous months. In July, President Biden visited Saudi Arabia, which heads OPEC, hoping to improve relations and encourage more oil production. A little bit later, we're going to check out how some downtown Joplin businesses celebrated this month's Art Walk.
Plus, the heat increases a bit as we head through the next few days. We'll check that out coming up. Well, of course, it still turned out to be a hot day for us today, but we got scattered showers and thunderstorms this morning. That was well deserved. It wasn't a ton of rain, but it was a decent amount. Officially in Joplin, about a quarter of an inch. On average, most of us picked up a quarter to a half an inch, which, hey, we'll definitely take. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri on the west side looks pretty good. 0.27 at the airport in Joplin, 0.28 for the month, for the year, just shy of 30 inches of rain, which of course majority of that came from January until the end of May. Heating up for the weekend. We do have some rain chances early next week, which could cause our temperatures to be just a hair or two cooler. Of course, you can always get my long range forecast on my month-long blog. That's on KOAMnewsnow.com. Upper 70s to lower 80s across the region, so it's still warm. We'll drop back into lower 70s later on tonight. If we go outside, 83 easterly winds are light. It still feels like 88 after 10. Relative humidity at 69%. And thankfully, we got the rain during the morning hours. We had showers, we had thunderstorms starting to pop up, mainly after midnight for us last night. And then they dove off toward the south and to the east. The heaviest was on the Missouri side, but at least 90% of us at least got a little bit of rain, which is definitely good news. Nothing out there now, just ground clutter. We have pretty much clear skies. Looks pretty good across the Central Plains. We're still dominated by this big dome of high pressure, and this gives us the heat and the humidity. The other factor here is it shoves the jet stream way up into Canada. All the storm systems, they like to hang out along the jet stream. So if the jet stream's up north, we don't get any big systems. We just get these weak little waves that start to push through. All right, through the overnight hours, lower 70s. A nice night. We're going to warm up quickly. We'll start at 74 in the morning. Plenty of sunshine through the morning hours. May get a few random clouds by the afternoon. 94 by noon. High temp. We're going to push 100. Some areas will hit 100, but we're going to go for 99 for an official high southerly wind light. I think the best shot to hit 100 is on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, but everybody's going to be into the upper 90s. As we go through tomorrow night, a few isolated little thunderstorms are going to try to pop up late. Let's stop at 6 a.m. Saturday morning. little isolated thunderstorms. This is good news. We could use some isolated thunderstorms. These last through Saturday morning and then just kind of go poof by the time we head into Saturday afternoon. Still, high temperatures are going to press 100 degrees on Saturday. Heat indices are also going to be out there. Heat index tomorrow, we have a heat advisory in effect, probably 105-ish, and then we'll see very similar numbers once again as we head into Saturday afternoon. 99 tomorrow, 100 Saturday. Those morning isolated thunderstorms. Near 100 on Sunday. Some scattered thunderstorms Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Still hot, mid to upper 90s. Back to 100 on Thursday, and then the heat looks like it really moves back in late next week into the weekend. So even on the cooler days, our coolest day on there is 95.
Okay, I'm going to focus on the positive. Scattered thunderstorms possible.
Yeah.
What would be the most anybody might get under one of those scattered thunderstorms?
Yeah, maybe half an inch.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, that's something.
That's something.
Thanks, Doug. Hey, today's the first Thursday of August, which means it's time for another art walk in downtown Joplin. One of the businesses taking part was Club 609. They presented work by artist couple Jim and Diana Bray through a show called The Vanishing Landscape. Jim uses acrylics, Diana uses 3D abstracts.
Those areas that I grew up around, I kind of stayed with me. And I've been always interested in the old wooden houses, barns, and all of the things that were left by the people who migrated into that area.
There are 2 art walks left. October is the last month to attend this year. Still ahead, coming up in sports, we're going to hear from Carlos Dunlap following his first day of practice with the Chiefs, and the St. Louis Cardinals aim for the series sweep against the rival Cubs. Jacob Leonard has the highlights and more next.
Doug Henning has
The Pittsburgh American Legion baseball team is playing in the Mid-South Regional Tournament in Birmingham, Alabama this week. The Post 64 dropped their opener yesterday, so today they turn around and face elimination against Shelby County, Alabama. Now, Pittsburgh got off to a hot start in this one. Actually scored 9 runs in the first today, going to win 11-0. Caden Harrison goes 2 for 4 with a pair of RBIs. The Post 64 is right back on the field tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Major League Baseball announces today that the St. Louis Cardinals will play a pair of games in London next summer. The Cards will play a 2-game set against the Chicago Cubs at London Stadium on June 24th and 25th next year. It's going to be just the second time Major League Baseball has had a regular season game in Europe. The Red Sox and Yankees played in London back in 2019. As part of the league's international series, there will also be games in Japan and Mexico in the next few years. Staying with the Cardinals and Cubs, they're in the middle of a series right now. 2 teams finish up a 3-game series this afternoon with a doubleheader after Game 2 was rained out last night. We'll start with Game 1 here. Cardinals trying for their 3rd straight win and their 5th win in 6 games. And they go down early. This is Wilson Contreras, home run. Cardinals were down 3-0 at one point, but in the 7th, bats come alive. Nolan Gorman connects and takes this one out to left. Solo shot, his 12th, makes it 3-1. The next batter, it's Paul Goldschmidt. You know what he does. 26th of the year for Goldschmidt. It's now just a 1-run game. Bottom of the 9th. They tied it up at 3. Cards got runners on 1st and 2nd. Lars Nootbaar going to be the hero in this one. Base hit to right. Nolan Arenado scores. That's a walk-off single for Nootbaar. Cardinals take Game 1 over the Cubs 4-3. So in Game 2, Cardinals try to sweep the day and the series. That game just went final a little bit ago. Cardinals win that one 7-2. Tyler O'Neill goes 1 for 3 on the night with a 3-run homer. Switching over to the American League, the Kansas City Royals welcome in the Boston Red Sox tonight for Game 1 of a 4-game series. The Royals enter the night having lost back-to-back games and 7 of their last 9. They get this one though, 7-3 the final. Salvador Perez goes 2 for 4 on the evening with a home run and 4 RBIs. Carlos Dunlap got on the field today at training camp for the first time in a Chiefs uniform. The Chiefs signed the veteran defensive end last Thursday to a 1-year deal. Dunlap spoke to the media after practice about getting to St. Joe and why Kansas City was where he chose to be 13 years into his NFL career.
Great opportunity with a great organization. What they've done the last few years, playing against them on the other side of the ball, I wanted to add what my specialties to it, and we felt like we had mutual interest. These last week or so, ever since camp started, things heated up, but I liked what I heard from the Chiefs. That's why I came out here to meet with them in person, to see how I fit, see how they would use me, see how I would contribute, see if it was a fit, and I'm here.
And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news right after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Larry Hockett served in the U.S. Army. The Chanute, Kansas native was stationed in Germany, and we salute Specialist Larry Hockett, a four-state hero. A heroic rescue in Joplin today. Firefighters assisted the city's animal control to rescue a dog that had fallen off the top of the cliffs at Wildcat Glades, commonly known as Mother Nature's Crack. Officials say the dog appeared to have been there 3 or 4 days and was injured and dehydrated. Crews climbed down and brought a boat near the cliff to rescue that pup. That pup is now recovering. All's well that ends well. All kinds of heroic missions for firefighters, and occasionally that includes rescuing a pup.
That's true.
It's going to be hot for the foreseeable future, Doug.
It is. Temperatures, they're going to stay right around 100 degrees. 100 tomorrow, or near 99 tomorrow, 100 on Saturday. Some isolated morning thunderstorms, and then kind of mid to upper 90s, and then back to the triple-digit heat late next week.
Final sports notes.
I wanted to be done with 105. I don't like seeing that. But anyways, big day for a couple local Little League baseball teams. They're in Indianapolis playing in the Midwest Regional Tournament. Webb City plays at noon in Indy. Pittsburgh plays at 3, so we'll have the latest from both of those games right here tomorrow night.
Wish them well. Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.
Salon service